this thing. So one guy says one thing, the other says the other.
All right, good morning. We're going to go ahead and call the January 2026 board meeting of the Burleigh County Water Resource District to order. First item up this morning is roll call. Wendy, take roll call, folks.
Manager Mitchell.
Here.
Manager Reed.
Here.
Manager Smith.
Here.
Chairman Landenberger.
Here, we have a quorum. We can continue. Next item is, oh, and Jerry's here. Good morning, Commissioner. This morning, first item we're going to do is reorganization, the election of the officers for 2026. So we're going to start off this morning by, and I could still chair this, but we'll go ahead and start off with, we have 3 officer positions to fill: chairman, vice chairman, and secretary treasurer. So starting with the chairman, I will open the floor for nominations.
I nominate James Landenberger.
Okay, we have a nomination for James Landenberger. I do consent to the nomination. Are there any other further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to cease nominations and cast unanimous ballot for James Landenberger for the chairman?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Manager Smith, and a second by Manager Mitchell to nominate James Landenberger for chairman. All those in favor of James Landenberger for chairman, please signify by saying aye.
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 No? Ayes have it. I myself is elected chairman. Thank you, grateful. We will now move on to the election of the 2 remaining board officers this morning, starting with the vice chairman. I will open the floor for nominations for vice chairman.
I would like to nominate Roger Smith.
Okay, does Roger Smith consent to the nomination?
I do.
Okay, Roger Smith has been nominated for vice chairman. Are there any other further nominations? Any other further nominations for vice chairman? One last time, any further nominations? Not hearing any, is there a motion to cease nominations and cast unanimous ballot for Roger Smith for vice chairman?
Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. Motion by Dennis, Manager Reed,
Second.
second by Manager Mitchell to cast unanimous ballot for Roger Smith for vice chairman. All those in favor of Roger for vice chairman, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Ayes have it, and Roger is elected vice chairman. Congrats, Roger. We will now move on to secretary treasurer. I'll open the floor for nominations for secretary treasurer for 2026.
I would like to nominate Dennis Reap.
Okay. Manager Reap, do you consent to the nomination for secretary treasurer? Okay. Are there any other further nominations? Any other further nominations for secretary treasurer? One last time, any further nominations? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to cease nominations and cast unanimous ballot for Manager Reap for secretary treasurer for 2026? Got a motion by Manager Smith,
Second.
second by Manager Mitchell to nominate Manager Reap for secretary treasurer. All those in favor of Manager Reap for secretary treasurer, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. No? Opposed? The ayes have it, and Manager Reap is elected secretary treasurer for 2026. That will cease our elections for the 3 board officers for 2026. We can now move on to the next item on the agenda this morning. Review and approval of the 2026 member portfolios. So, as you know, at this meeting, we usually walk through those portfolios and assign. Means we still have one more manager to add to the board, which will probably be at next meeting. I think at this point, we will probably table this conversation until next month's meeting. So in the interim, please read through that listing of portfolios and just make sure if there's ones listed that you're still interested in having. We can certainly have that conversation next month, and then get the remaining ones that were assigned to Manager Jones assigned to the new board member. So, okay. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, we can move on to item 3 this morning, the reappointment of our administrative secretary, our engineer, and our legal counsel. So we have received 3 updated 2026 proposals from these 3, or those 3. So you guys had a chance to review those, and any questions or thoughts this morning? Okay, if not, we'll need a motion probably for all 3.
I move that we reappoint all 3, secretary, engineer, and legal counsel to their respective positions
Okay, for 2026.
for 2026.
Okay, we got a motion by Manager Smith,
Second.
and a second by Manager Mitchell to reappoint our administrative secretary, our engineer, and our legal counsel for 2026. Wendy, you take roll call vote, please.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Manager Reed,
Yes.
Manager Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Landenberger.
Yes, motion passes. They are reappointed for 2026. Okay, moving on to item 4 this morning, approval of last month's meeting minutes. Anybody get a chance to review those and any changes or additions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion by Manager Smith and a second by Manager Mitchell to approve last month's meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Oppose? The ayes have it, minutes are approved. Moving on to the agenda this morning. Any changes to the agenda? Not hearing any, is there a motion to approve?
Motion
To approve that.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion by Manager Reap, and a second by Manager Smith to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Ayes have it, agenda is approved. Item 6, comments from members of the public not associated with the project but still under business of the Burleigh County Water Resource District. Not seeing any this morning. We can move on to McDowell Dam. Chuck, any updates on your end?
Yeah, as far as the leases go, we have just signed the leases, and they will be sent out for the agricultural lease with Mr. Brown, and also the Aero Club lease with Mr. Heskin. And I believe Attorney Bliss has been speaking with Major Coburn regarding the Civil Air Patrol lease, and are there any updates?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Chuck, there are 3 different individuals with Civil Air Patrol now. I would like to get some clarification with regard to their position on the indemnity clause, which we presented, to make sure we understand whether they object. One did, I believe one didn't. So I can report back to the board on that with a revised contract approved by the Civil Air Patrol, and then the board can make its decision at that point.
So the other 2 have already been approved and signed?
Correct.
Yep, okay.
They have.
And remind me again, what were the terms on those as far as the years?
10 years.
10.
So all 3 are gonna be 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, wow,
Yeah,
okay,
the board had suggested that, I believe, at the last meeting to make
Yep.
sure Civil Air Patrol was 10 as well as Aero Club, and
Okay.
that's what Civil Air Patrol lease says now.
okay. Curious, Dave, anything that you've seen out there with, Civil Air Patrol? I don't know if were even out there last year. And then, how about the Aero Club? Things have been pretty good? Pretty slow. Okay, yeah, okay, good, thank you. Okay, so next month we'll work through the Civil Air Patrol one and finalize that one, okay? Anything else, Chuck, on any of your items?
Nope, I think that covers it.
Okay. I don't know, Michael, anything you want to, Travis, update on the?
Oh, how do we do this? Which
Well-
order do we start? We'll step through a couple things. As far as the easement side, obviously, Mr. Anderson still hasn't commented back. You've been in touch with him. That's kind of an ongoing scenario. We can talk about that a little bit later. As far as the Outdoor Heritage Fund grant, they denied it. Don't quite know why. I've talked to a couple people. There was limited discussion, actually, to even put it on the table, so not quite sure what that was. But what I put together from a discussion of the project funding opportunities, the next step is a short memorandum to give the board some opportunities to take a look at what's out there, what direction you want to go. The DWR does not require a benefit cost ratio or an economic analysis for their funding. They've already funded the pre-engineering on it, so I do not have a real concern about them not funding the actual construction. So from that perspective, obviously you still got to go through the web grants process and put everything in there. But related to a couple things, obviously because the Outdoor Heritage Fund grant monies are not available, the district has to come up with additional funds. And those additional funds are documented in the memo. You've already set aside a significant amount of money to basically match the grant program dollars. So the question is the availability of additional funds. You do have some funds that you allocated in 2025 that could be utilized for that, and you've allocated additional funds in 2026 that were dedicated towards some of the capital improvements, but that doesn't mean you couldn't use them for this particular aspect. An offset of that that's been discussed as far as, funding availability from your perspective is the Burnt Creek project has a reserve fund that was set aside for its original project that's never been utilized. So those funds are probably available. I think there's $170,000 set out there. I did prepare a memo back when relative to the maintenance of the project, and so some of those funds could be transferred into this particular effort if you chose to. So just, kind of looking back and saying what's available. The other one that I looked at in the discussion of the Outdoor Heritage Fund is what was missing in the application or what would they want to see. They have their directives, A, B, C, and D. I obviously put together the argument as to what A, B, and C, D mean relative to the benefits that could be provided. You could dig into those if you wanted to reapply and go back to, for one example that came to mind is that if the water level is down, the handicap ramp isn't accessible. Well, they support the installation of handicap ramps as far as their Outdoor Heritage Fund projects. So there's a little bit of that. The other issue is do you mesh the project on the water supply with some other site improvements that are also eligible? That's a conversation that we checked with Bismarck Parks and Rec, got some ideas. It's part of the capital improvement fund, what's eligible or what's not. So looking at this, it's kind of up to the board as far as how you want to consider repackaging, if you will, that application. The recommendation is to talk to probably several of the Outdoor Heritage Fund members and say, hey, what didn't you hear that you want to hear, or what more could we do to I'll use the term sweeten the pot a little bit and make it more fit their guidelines.
Yeah, during the presentation, we did have one, board member ask us that they were unsure of what the overall benefit was. And
Correct.
How this really, long-term helps the recreational area, the dam itself, in the water quality. So I think we need to do a little bit more, homework on how we present that. It's very complicated.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of pieces.
You're given a 10-minute window to try to explain, plus the application. But I just think some of that was lost a little bit. We did have the one board member that spoke very highly of the facility and how great it has become. And every time he goes out there, he sees a lot of people using the facility. So he sees the use, and he sees probably why we're considering it. I think what was lost a little bit was what this project's really, how's it really going to work, and how's it really going to benefit
Right,
long-term.
and I think you're right, when you have a 10-minute window, there's not a lot that you can say, and when you're trying to educate or update them on the entire project as a
Right.
whole, you
There's
use.
engineering and costs
use-
and things we try to get through.
Right, you use 6 to 8 minutes of that, and you don't have a whole lot of time, and then I was surprised that there weren't more questions. One of the items that I did do from the standpoint of review, thinking that DWR might need an economic analysis, is I did touch base with NRCS. Erica up there, she's a new state conservationist. They are willing to assist the board in updating the benefit cost ratio. At the last time it was done, obviously a number of years ago, based on the short period of record, it was 1.4 to 1. So in that aspect, there's a couple things that play into this. When you think about updating that, I don't know what it's gonna be, might be 1.6, might be 1.2. But they are willing to update that and provide that data as assistance. They're looking at a few things from the district to provide as well, relative to the background that we did, relative to the period of record, and obviously, going back to, the facility use and the number of visitors, users, that sort of thing. But they'd be willing to do that if this board would request it. That benefit cost ratio goes in a number of ways. If you're going before DWR, even though you don't need it, it's a check mark, it's a plus, if, you know, from that perspective. The other aspect of it is if you're going to the county commission, looking for additional public funding, even though you may have it within your current portfolio, you would have that to support that request, and to the public, that you're actually doing something that has a greater rate of return than your investment. That also goes back to the, you know, easement acquisitions and other items. So I guess, you know, bottom line, I'm looking at it, you know, direction from the board. Would you like to go through and pursue that with NRCS and get that updated? Maybe that's an ongoing discussion. Another thing to understand is your water permit goes through February of '28. Now, typically on your perfection of the water permit, you have to have something in place. Or in the case of this, is if you've got something that's actually in progress, in other words, you're currently implementing, then that goes towards that perfecting the permit. I do believe, and I don't know that I saw it, James, was there an email from the state relative to the water use for 2025?
Yeah, there's something in the packet today. That one was for,
Because we feel,
That
Yep,
form needs to
yep.
be filled out.
the annual
Okay.
water use survey.
yeah, and with your direction,
Yep.
in fact, I came across last year's, it's gonna be
Yep.
very similar. But we could update that and get that submitted. Obviously, there's no use because there's nothing
Right.
built out there,
Right.
so. But that's kind of where it's at from our perspective. Obviously, we think that, you know, board member like yourself, or maybe Dennis, who's familiar with that, to talk to a couple of the Outdoor Heritage Fund members and say, is there anything new that we could provide that would help the application, and do you expend the dollars and resources to reapply, and go to, get the NRCS update?
Mm-hmm. Roger, you had mentioned that you knew one of the members really well, Mr. Cryle.
Who,
Mr. Randy?
who's on there?
Randy.
Oh, Randy Crowell,
Randy
yes,
Crowell.
I do know Randy. Yeah.
Randy was the one who was asked about
Yep.
the valuation, so.
Yeah, he was really the one that was digging in a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, more on the benefit side.
So, Michael, what was our request for how much?
Do you remember the dollar amount, Travis? They were 75% versus the DWRs at 45%, so it was a fairly sizable number.
Yep.
Okay, was that part of maybe the issue, just the amount that we,
They never said
or
anything.
did we have a lot of was there a lot of competition?
It was anywhere from 50,000 to 5 million, so we weren't the biggest project by far.
Okay,
But there was, I think there was.
They-
18 projects?
I think there were 18
Yeah.
projects.
all right.
Just the sheer number of projects they
Yep.
had to review, it was a
Yeah.
value judgment call on their base, you know, that they had to kind of thin that out a little bit, that maybe they saw more value in some of the other projects.
When's their next go-around for?
They haven't set their next meeting date, but usually
Is it
they're.
twice a year, so?
Twice a year.
So they did December, the next, and the applications are probably due, what, at the end of October, if I remember right, last year?
Yeah, and they moved that around a little bit, so,
So it could be March or April could be the application timeframe.
right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and as far as, I don't know, what are the wishes of the board, I guess, regarding the NRCS? I don't know, Dennis, if you got any thoughts on that too, just, you know, you're been a part of those in the past as well, but it probably makes some sense to me that we,
And we don't
Update
have to do it for DWR funding, it's just gonna add a little more information to a potential future proposal to Outdoor Heritage Fund.
Right, and like I said, you've got the Outdoor Heritage Fund, plus you've got, there's always been discussion as what's the value to the public. You've got that, and if the public does ask, you've got an updated number revised that says, hey, it's got a net benefit and a positive return for the investment of this board.
yeah.
So, not unlike expanding the study range from 26 years to 58 or 56. So,
Dennis, you had something?
Yeah, it just maybe my perspective is that we've been to the Outdoor Heritage Fund twice now. I don't know that I've ever felt, I wasn't there either time, but I don't know that the welcome mat was out in front of us, for us to come in and look, just kind of looking at the financial difference, if I'm understanding it correctly. It's money. It is real money. It's not a ton of money that it's a difference, if I'm understanding it correctly, that would come out of our own pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't think that we should, delay moving forward with the project pending Outdoor Heritage Fund because, we could be 4 or 5 months down the road before we get our next answer. And financially, from my perspective, we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know that all this extra effort, from this point forward is going to produce anything beneficial to us.
Okay.
That's my take.
So with that, Dennis, you're thinking maybe not having the NRCS do the new BC evaluation?
Yeah, I don't know if that would serve any purpose. I mean, if they're willing to do it, it's certainly a good piece of information. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know if it'll provide any financial benefit to us.
Yeah.
The only avenue where it would, I guess that's kind of a question, is through the Outdoor Heritage Fund. And like I said, I don't know that from the feedback I've heard secondhand, that we're moving the needle enough for them. So,
Well, maybe if we have, I don't know, Roger, if you're willing to maybe reach out to Randy and have that conversation, and then, we certainly, Dennis or myself could also be involved, or Michael or Travis, if he had any specific questions for us, we could get a feel or a sense of what that might be, and then if we feel maybe we have a good opportunity to reapply again this spring, and maybe at that point we could, take another look at having NRCS. How long? What's the timeline for that?
well, that's one of the things that I did not get from Erica. I will check back and see what their timeline is.
Okay.
And the information. They were looking for some extension of the analysis that we did. I don't know that that's really necessary, given the time constraints of putting this together. But I will step back and check with her relative to the timeline, how quickly they can do it, what sort of agreement they may need, or can they just proceed with it as that goes. The other aspect of it is, I think we should look from Commissioner Manager Reep's perspective, is that we should look at putting together the web grants application for DWR and move that process forward. Remember, from a cost share grant funding, we're looking at or Heritage Fund first and DWR second. They still can cross over even if we do it later. So maybe the thing is now is to proceed and get the DWR funding in place. And then if Outdoor Heritage Fund, then the amount that's used from either side might change a little bit.
Yeah.
But from a timeline perspective, obviously you've got the easement perspective, but you could pursue the DWR funding at this time. They meet quarterly. So obviously we did the preliminary design. Now we'd be requesting money for final design.
And the full project, though. But-
Yeah, well, I think with the way they've got it set up, you go for final design and then you apply again for construction monies.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
so this next step then would be to apply for final design.
Right.
Okay. What's the
and
consent?
the deadline for that is end of February for the next cycle.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, Mr. Chairman. I think that would be
Yep.
a proper approach.
Yep, that makes sense. Consensus?
agree. Yeah.
Okay. Chuck?
Yep.
Good with that? Okay. All right, let's move forward with that, and maybe we'll hold on the NRCS.
Yeah, I'll
Step
check in
one.
on status and then get back to you on it.
And then, I don't know, Roger, if you're comfortable reaching out to Randy and just seeing.
Yeah, I'll see how much he can share and find out, maybe after we get secure DNR funding, maybe we have our request for funds is less, maybe they have a little bit more appetite and see themselves as kind of a partner in the project rather than funding a big chunk of it, so. I'll see what Randy's thoughts are and report back.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Roger. Anything else on McDowell Dam this morning? Okay. Yes, yeah. Morning, Dave.
Good morning. Thought of a few things I wanted to give you an update on. If you remember, for the capital improvement plan for 2026, the couple of items that we had budgeted for 2026 was the renovation of the shower house, the shower building.
Oh, yep.
Little architectural improvement to meet those ADA requirements. We, as the park district, have gone through our consultant selection process, and at our board meeting tomorrow night, we'll be making a recommendation to our board to approve a contract with an architectural consultant,
Okay.
and hope to move forward with that. Couple things on that. We're looking at, still very preliminary, obviously, we haven't had a brief conversation with the consultant on this, but maybe opening up 2 windows of construction. If we can possibly do it before the season starts, that would be great. Then we'd have it completed for the summer, but the other one would be waiting until after the season ends and going into the fall and doing the work. I don't see it as a big project. Should be doable. One thing we've done is that shower building has an old forced air heating system in it. Hasn't been run for a very long time. We're investigating what it would take to get it up and running. We have a HVAC person looking at it to see if it would be feasible. If we do offer it in the spring, the contractor may charge for heat, or if we fix this thing up, it may be a wash, but then we have a furnace that works if we need it in the future. So we're kind of investigating that, seeing what if that might be feasible. Other thing on the capital improvement this year was to purchase a new tractor.
That's right.
So in December, we went out we awarded bids. Budget was $120,000 of what we were looking at. Fortunately, we came in with something around $95,000.
Oh, very good.
So we did some kind of deep diving into what we really needed. What could we get? Best bang for our buck. So actually, I was just right before I raised my hand there, I was talking with David about it. Maybe because there's some additional money in there. I believe in 27 we had talked about setting a chunk of money aside for additional pieces of equipment for that tractor.
Yep.
Maybe with that additional money, maybe we could
That this year.
get one of those pieces this year instead of stretching that out. If we can find a piece that fits the dollar amount remaining.
Yep.
So that might be something we look at.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Chuck, revisit that CIP plan with that budget order, then we can see.
Yeah.
If the price is right, if we can find the piece of equipment that we need that fits the dollar amount remaining, then I think that might be a good thing to do. If we can get it now, it might be a little bit less expensive.
Yep.
So,
That's good.
It's always good.
just wanted to share those couple of items with you.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Any
you.
ice fishermen this winter?
A few.
Few here and there?
Yeah, I know my youngest went out there with a buddy of his. They didn't catch anything.
Okay.
But
That's ice fishing.
yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Dave. Thanks, David.
you.
All right. We can move on to financial reports this morning. Manager Reap?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, board members, on page 18 is the beginning of the balance sheet. I will go through the activity in December. We did start with a balance in checking of $1,739,072.71. We paid bills in the amount of $218,808.22. We had income in the amount of $34,180.83. About $6,000 of that was state aid. About $1,000 was real estate. The majority was insurance proceeds from the hailstorm out at McDowell Dam. So that came in this past month. Ending balance in our checking and savings account is $1,554,645.32. Rivera Wealth is the current balance is $2,482,462.61. That includes about $7,600 in interest minus the management fees for that. Item of note with that is that the rate does continue to go down. It went down another 0.06 last 15. So it's currently at 3.75% with the effective rate of 3.50. And so I think that's kind of on par with CDs. So I don't know that I would recommend moving off where we are right now, but we can discuss if we need to. Reserve fund balance had a little bit of interest, so that basically maintains the same, and then we have our other current assets for a total current assets of $4,750,777.13. Did go through all the activities of the month. Appears to be in order. I'd move for approval of the balance sheet as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thanks, Manager Ripp. We have a motion to accept the balance sheet for this month. Is there a second?
Second.
So, motion by Manager Ripp, a second by Manager Smith to approve the balance sheet. Wendy, take roll call vote, please.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Manager Reed,
Yes.
Manager Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Landenberger.
Yes, motion passes. Profit and loss this month?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I did go through the numbers. They all appear to be in order. One thing, that kind of led into my discussion about McDowell Dam is if you look on the on page, which one is it? It's the
21.
page 21. The last row there shows our net income from the year. That's that's for all of 2025, 640,000. That's been pretty standardized over the last few years, and so that kind of feeds into my position that, while it would be nice to get outdoor heritage funds, I think we'll be okay, managing it with our own budget as well, except our funds. So I want the board to take up that. With that, I move for approval of the profit and loss as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Manager Reap and a second by Manager Smith to approve this month's profit and loss statement. Wendy, take roll call vote, please.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Manager Reed,
Yes.
Manager Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Landenberger.
Yes, motion passes. Profit and loss is accepted. I don't know, Dennis, there were another item on there under the financial reports. It's just basically the additional information on closing out of that insurance claim out at McDowell Dam. So, I don't know if you saw
Correct.
that. Yep. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. And then, I guess, moving back to kind of Dennis's earlier point, I would probably tend to agree. We probably just keep that in that account because we're probably not getting anything better as far as CD rates go. So,
Right.
there's a consensus there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Dennis?
No.
Okay. We can move on to item 9 this morning, drainage permits and complaints. Keelboat Park, Michael, I'm not sure if there's any updates on that one this month. but-
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, no updates on that. I still need to put together, I've got the documentation, I just have not submitted it to the state at this point, so.
Okay. And then the Hawk Tree, I think there is maybe a slight update.
Yeah, Hawk Tree, I
It's
called,
like Casey's coming up too.
yeah, I talked to Brad Brown about what was going on out there, and he was gonna do some checking as far as, transfer of ownership and some of the other things, but Casey, maybe you've got additional update from another side.
Morning, Casey.
Morning. Late last week, I was given a call by Abe Almer with Independent Land Surveying and Engineering. The HOA has decided to hire that firm to start working on everything to help resolve all of it. So they're going to start working on the stormwater management plan amendment. Then they're going to work on roadway plans, culverts, how they're all going to get done. They'll submit plans to the highway department. We'll review everything, go through, make sure it actually meets the goals. They do need to obtain a drainage easement from the golf course that goes through the driving range. And it sounds like that's moving along positively and should be able to move forward. Otherwise, at this point, we're just waiting on them to get done and do their first submittal and go from there.
Okay. Thanks, Casey. Any questions for Casey?
No, I appreciate the update, Casey. Like I said, I've been talking to Brad. He was the actual individual who filed the complaint, and it's nice to hear that they're progressing. Chuck and I talked about it too. As long as they're progressing, we don't need to do much more at this point. So we'll
So
continue to hold.
Can we close or should we wait to see what happens on Casey's review?
The easiest might be, once we get everything submitted, I can just share it and send it over to Mike or
Yeah.
Travis or Nick, whomever, and they can take a peek at it too. And any comments, we'll include them in our formal response letter that we give on comments, and be able to go forward from there.
So the gentleman who filed the original complaint, is he kind of still involved in this whole process? And
Well, far as I understood, he's involved in the process, but he hadn't heard any updates. So and he hadn't really called and talked to anybody, probably was out of town or whatever. I think procedurally, it'd be nice to see what's actually being submitted, and then based on that submittal, dismiss
Have a
the complaint
discussion
at that point in time.
Yep.
But I will call Mr. Brown and update him on what you told me, Casey. And
Yeah.
so that he probably knows who to call, but he just hasn't talked to him yet.
Yeah. And Abe had a question on what size a storm needs to be done for the culverts, and we just told him North Dakota stream crossing standards is to be followed. Has to be RCP culvert because it's underneath the roadway. And then I'll also coordinate with Hay Creek Township, and we just let them know this is what's going on. They generally let us just take the lead on
Right.
on those parts and any roadway improvements.
Okay.
And I guess from a procedural standpoint, the minute that they submit the plan would be the time that you could dismiss the complaint, because that's the resolution.
Right.
I think that works, and I'll let Mr. Brown know that that's the process.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
That's good. Thanks, Casey.
You bet. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions on that item? Okay, if not, we can move on to a new one that we have here with or the update on Grand Prairie Estates.
Yeah, the gentleman at Grand Prairie Straits basically came into our office. He has filed or will be filing a floodplain development permit with the city. So basically, that's completely resolved or will be resolved at that point in time.
Okay.
So there was no formal complaint. It was just a matter of floodplain violation and some of the things that he thought he had permission to do that he didn't. And that structure will not be restored or
So he's not
repaired.
moving forward with it.
He's not moving forward. He's just going to basically restore the surface impacts that he created. And they're all on his property. So quite honestly, level the ground, seed some grass, and it'd be done.
Okay.
So,
We can
but-
consider this one essentially.
You can
There was no
consider-
formal complaint.
right,
but-
you can take it off the list for next month.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one comment on Grand Prairie. I've represented Midwest Dragline, which is owned by the Steiningers on unrelated matters. So I've participated with Mike toward the resolution of this matter.
Okay.
I do want to notify the court that I have represented Midwest Dragline.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no other drainage permits complaints. We can move on to projects this morning. The Hogue Island, any updates there this morning?
Realistically, we have not done anything with the easement revisions on Dave Chiters. Braun was supposed to be going out and drilling. They got delays because of weather and stuff, so we'll probably find out more. We've been monitoring. Travis has been out there a couple times. Not a lot of major changes. It's still fairly stable. The request letter went into DWR. DWR has been in the continuous mix of conversation. So relative to that, you got a 50% cost share through them. They've asked us, or the district, to actually proceed with the investigation and the renovation, so we keep them in the loop on everything that's going on. So as soon as the geological assessment is taken care of, then we'll find out what might actually be done next year, next spring.
Okay.
Roger Jonas is another one. There's a hard point to the north that has been eroding.
Have you been out there recently?
Travis was actually out there. Some of the water levels have gone down. The backside of that hard point has been eroded. The standpoint is there any significant new erosion or relative to that? There probably isn't. Though we'll monitor that going into spring. It may be one of those it's best to repair it before it fails. So there may be some work that's necessary on that next spring or next year before things go forward. So.
Okay, and that one too would also be 50-50 split with
Correct.
DWR.
That, we would go back to the state, and we've identified that. They've been out there. They've actually done drone flights
Okay.
as to what's
Oh, they
there.
have. Okay.
Yes. One thing I would ask, this is kind of squirrely off track. I've got another issue with WERDA relative to WERDA's in process with Senator Kramer's office. Wondering whether or not this board would want to at least recommend to Senator Kramer's office to put money in Section 33 for bank stabilization and maintenance. It's been on the list before, hasn't really gotten any traction, but I think it would be prudent, given the impacts that are occurring out there, that some money should be put into that account for maintenance purposes.
Do you have any idea of what we'd recommend?
Right now, WERDA is not an appropriations, it's just an authorization. So it would be the recommendation that the Corps consider putting money aside for Section 33 due to ongoing maintenance requirements.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, I'll throw an email back out to
Consensus?
Brady with Kramer's office.
Dennis, any thoughts there?
No, sounds good. I was asked.
Okay.
I will do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, any questions on Hogue Island this morning? If not, we can move on to the Apple Creek slide.
Mr. Chairman, just
Oh, go ahead,
one
Dennis.
question. A detail on the reimbursement. Are we able to send them invoices? Do they have to run it through their board? What was the discussion there, Michael?
I think because it's under the director's limit that we probably could just submit, but I will have Travis check with
I think so too.
Clay and see how they want to process that.
Okay, good question. All right, I don't know, Roger, Michael, anything on the Apple Creek slide this morning?
I'll refer to Michael.
Yeah, a couple things on that. We are looking at having kind of an internal meeting with DES on Friday. There's been ongoing monitoring of the various slope movements that are going out there. University of Mary's grant through DES is closing, well, actually is closed by December 31st. There's some question about ongoing measurements. And so, yeah, we'll have to discuss. Bar will be on the call as well as far as their position and status. Roger, I should get you included on that meeting invite, so. For
Okay.
discussion. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna continue to monitor. Like I said, it looks like the southern portion of or the lower portion of the slope still has some movement going on. The question is we need to monitor over that a period of time to see whether that's a continuous or what the status is. And then BGC would look at, what recommendations might be to mitigate that. Maybe it just is a continuous monitoring from here until whenever. So, but I will get that. Like I said, right now, we just talked the last couple of days about scheduling that meeting, so.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Apple Creek? Okay, we can move on to other old business this morning. I don't know, Mitch, is there any update from Burleigh County on the CRS this month, or kind of where things sit with on your end? Morning, Mitch.
Morning, Commissioners. Yeah, I had a Zoom meeting yesterday with Matt Lafferty and Tom Burney about the CAF. They sent me a spreadsheet of some of the properties they're having problems with. One of the projects is the one on Apple Creek, the barn that's built in the floodway. That is, we received the plat for that, the plat application for that, so that's the first step. It's a very simple plat, it's 5-acre outlot, and once that's approved, then we can issue the building permit, and you can begin its construction. So probably by this summer, hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have that one fixed. But we have another CAB visit in person in February with Matt and Tom, and again, probably in April.
Okay. So best guess, is 2026 a possibility to get is the CRS done?
Well, if we can get through the spreadsheet that he sent.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of issues on some of the properties.
Okay.
And, but, just go through it.
Also, I'll ask you, Mitch, while you're up here, any updates on the ETA? Is that all, where does that sit right now? Is that?
Well, yeah, that is going to become effective March 1st.
Okay.
The last count, that's close to 1,800 properties that are in the floodplain that will be under our jurisdiction.
Okay. All right.
1,800 buildings, sorry.
Yeah.
And we haven't counted the parcels yet.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mitch? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know, Michael, if there's any updates, or I don't know, Jerry, on the Garrison Conservancy District, Burleigh County.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's going to be we applied to be removed from the membership list of the Garrison diversion, and that is moving along. The district is going to have a public meeting, public hearing. One of these days, they have not set a date on that, but I think that's going to be very important for not only this group, but anybody involved with water to be there and testify that we do not, I voted against it, I didn't, it was 3-2, so it wasn't unanimous or anything like that, but I think that's an opportunity for everybody to avoid doing that, avoid retiring from that group. The commissioners kept comparing money that we were putting in as far as an annual membership, 700-some thousand, and the money that they're getting back. And most of that so far that we've gotten back has been grants through the Bismarck Park District. They've applied for every grant that has been given. But I'm hanging my hat more on the extra stuff that the district does for lobbying in D.C., lobbying on the state, because we don't have anybody that does that. The county doesn't. So I think that's very important. I don't know. I don't want to make a prediction on what's going to happen, but the board, I certainly will turn down our application to I think, from what I've heard, to get out of that group, and then we'll appeal. We will probably appeal it 3-2 to go to the state district court and see what happens there. So that's never been done, I don't think. So it's kind of new territory for all of us. But I think it's very important for our group here to whether Michael's going to be there to make a presentation for Burleigh County Water Resource District or not. But I think it's important that we do something. We can't, if we sit back and do nothing, it'll influence that group one way or the other. So.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, certainly let us know whenever that gets scheduled. I'm sure we'll find out in other avenues as well.
Once they set that public hearing, then we'll go from there.
Okay, circle back. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to MRCC. Is there any updates this morning on that one?
No, Mr. Chairman. Travis has been in touch with him and probably touch base with him again. It sounded like it was a preliminary idea and approach, and until it actually goes forward, until we see plan sets, there's really no additional response. So we'll just touch base with him and see what their status is.
Okay. I mean, as we look closer at what they wanted to do and where our structure was located, I don't think there'd be much of an impact anyway. Really.
Right. Yeah, but it's nice to see the final plans, and especially related to the drainage features along the edge of the toe of the levee.
Yeah.
That's the real impact of what might be there. So.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, move on to new business this morning. First item there, the meeting dates. So the one is next month that we're looking at is, we had it listed as February 18th, but due to some other commitments, we're looking to maybe move that to February 4th. So hopefully that works for, I think I've kind of talked with most of you that would be okay. And Wendy's already checked on the room, and the room is available. So we'll move the February meeting to Wednesday, February 4th at 8 a.m. in this room. So the rest of them I think are presented as is, and a couple of them we did move was November and December. November for Veterans Day and December because of the water conference. So those will get posted on our website. Okay. Next item in your packet, there's we did get USGS reached out to us to sign the agreement for 2026 for the gauging station. So we went ahead and signed that, and we'll send that back to USGS, just to kind of more of information and purposes for in your packet here.
We have to vote on that?
That's a good point, because I know we talked about it last fall, but yeah, we can certainly have a motion today too, just to kind of close it out. So.
Sorry, I should have voted it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, we entertain a motion to go ahead and sign that agreement and make the payment to USGS for that gauge.
I'll move that we proceed that way.
Second.
Got a motion by Manager Smith and a second by Manager Mitchell to go ahead and sign the USGS joint funding agreement for the Apple Creek stream gauge. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion passes. Okay, and then additional information in your packet there on page 40 is for that the annual water use survey from the Department of Water Resources. As Michael said, that he'll work through and get that filled out and sent in.
That's correct. We'll get that taken care of.
Okay. All right. Oh, Casey. Morning.
Morning. Just one or two informational items. The Apple Creek Bridge on Apple Creek Road, approximately half a mile east of 80th Street Southeast, is going to be reconstructed this year. So the bid is February 27th. We'll have detours in place. The bridge will be removed. We'll put in triple box culverts. Will be replaced. We did look at a bridge, but quite the aquifer underneath. We were having water shooting out 2 feet above the ground,
Oh, no
and
kidding.
it was going to compromise all the piling on that one. So we had to change direction on that one. But we don't have the contractor yet, so we don't know the exact schedule. I can just keep you up to date. But if people are asking, that is what's going on, and we will update the stream gauge that's there.
That was east of 80th Street?
East, about half a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then another one that we're looking at, another Apple Creek Bridge, is on Lincoln Road, west of Lincoln, when you're going out to the airport. We received notification from the state that we received flex funds to replace that bridge, but we need to go through the process. We have to present everything to the board to see if they're willing to move forward with that, and be able to go from there. Because it's flex funds, we're looking at, we wouldn't, this year, just with permitting, wouldn't be possible, but it would be looking at try and bid as soon as possible to get it ready for the year after on there. But we just got to go through our formal process and see how the board wants to be able to move forward on that.
Okay.
But it was just let you guys know kind of what's going on as people start asking questions.
Yeah.
That way you're at least know, or you can tell them to call us and we'll go over it with them. So.
Okay. Neither of these structures, we don't have any gauging or anything. It's a different bridge, I think, that they're on, right?
Lincoln Road doesn't have a gauge. The one on Apple Creek Road does.
Okay.
On there, so we'll have to get that.
Okay.
And that's part of the plans,
Yep.
is to have that replaced
Okay.
and be able to go through that. We did, Ruth Coleman, we did get, I think, everything worked out. We had about a 4.5 hour meeting with her. She did sign all the land to sell. We bought that from her, so then we'll just work with her through construction. She still is concerned about her land eroding and that structure that's there, but I don't think that part will go away, but the bridge being replaced,
Okay.
we can move forward with that at this time.
Okay.
Couple things quickly, Casey. I did check with DWR, and they never really got back to me relative to that structure. There's an ongoing discussion relative to the water resource districts who have been given ownership of older dams and older things, and I'll update you on that if it impacts this particular issue. But now, this is the USGS gauge that will have to be relocated, right?
Correct.
And you've been coordinating with them relative to the relocation. Are they going to have to re-rate their gauge, I suspect, because of the new structure? Okay. As long as that's being taken care of, it's just background for me. So.
Yeah, no, we got to start over essentially
Right.
because we're setting a new one.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, no other new business this morning. We can move on to item 14. There is additional information of plats and stormwater management plans that can be made available to you upon request. There is one plat that's a preliminary that we just got notice on, which is the Coomer Ranch subdivision. So if you have any interest in that one, certainly reach out to Wendy and she can get the additional information to you. And we can move on to item 15, approval of this month's bills. Manager Reap.
Chairman, board members, at page 43 is a summary of the bills. I did go through them. The math is good. Just one item of note is that the Houston engineering invoices, I believe, represent 2 months plus for many of them. So just take note of that. with that, I'd move for approval of the payment of bills in the amount of $70,257.57.
Okay, got a motion by Manager Reap
I'll second.
and a second by Manager Smith to approve this month's bills in the amount of $70,257.57.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, before you do the vote,
Yeah.
you will notice your payroll will go in tomorrow to your bank account, not today. We switched it so that we had approval before we sent it to the
Makes
bank.
sense, yeah. Okay, thank you.
So you will be getting paid the day after the meetings.
Okay, that works. Any other discussion or questions on the bills? I did notice, we also this month, Dennis, we didn't have one from Bismarck Parks and Rec, right? So that was kind of, so there'll probably be a.
Correct, yeah.
Double.
December's usually comes late in January.
Yeah, so we'll probably have a double next month then.
Yes,
Okay. Or maybe we don't get January because it's February 4th.
that's true, we probably won't. We may not get December.
Right. Okay, no other discussion. When do you take roll call vote, please?
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Manager Reed,
Yes.
Manager Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Landenberger.
Yes, motion passes. Bills will be paid. Remaining items in your packet there are just more details on this month's bills. Like I said, the next meeting will be scheduled for February 4th in this room at 8 a.m. And maybe we'll have another board member. So we are going to go into executive session, but Jerry, I wanted to mention that Brian is here if you want to meet Brian before he leaves during our executive.
Hiding behind the pillar.
Yep, yeah, yeah, so, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and move into our executive session now for McDowell Dam.